in New York, but I come down to Princeton to write, or try to write. And when I'm here, there's one place I really like to look at. This house belongs to Michael Graves, one of America's leading architects, who's a friend of mine for about 10 years. It was originally a brick storage warehouse built by Italians in the 20s. Michael bought it about 20 years ago, and since then he's been slowly transforming it into what's now a kind of essence of his architectural style. So it still has very much the feeling of an Italian villa. It has one of these spaces, which has a name that I actually can't remember, and then you're welcomed into the house by this still bubbling Roman sarcophagus. Whenever I walk in, I automatically want to look up because it's so pleasurable, and I'm sure, in fact, you're meant to. In fact, as soon as you're inside the house, you're struck by the incredible sense of proportion, the symmetry, the classicalness. Everything's been thought about, everything relates to everything else. Perspectives are all very deliberate, and they work very well. The doors, window openings, skylights are beautiful. Even the light fixtures, which he designed himself, are perfect for this house. It doesn't matter where you sit or stand in this house. Your perspective has been considered so that everything has the right sense of proportions. Even this bowl of apples, which is always here, there are always apples there, I'm sure are here because Michael likes the way they look. It does give the house a wonderful smell of apples, which is in direct opposition to my house, which has a wonderful smell of cigarette smoke. No one has ever been known to eat one of these apples except for me. There's nothing soft in this house. It's clear that he prefers this severity of surface. It's also a house to display things in. No matter where you sit at this table, what you see is what he wants you to see, and what in fact you do want to see. There's no pretense at being casual here. Nothing is a throwaway. This solarium, I know, is Michael's favorite room. He spends a lot of time here. It's typical of Michael to have this very soaring height in a room that's meant to be casual. I find this very kind of formal, even slightly grand space to be more relaxing than a space that's deliberately meant to be casual, so I would agree with him on this. I also think that as a shorter person, I am at my most relaxed in very high spaces, or even grand ones. I'm at my most relaxed in palaces. Whenever I go into the New York Public Library, I usually feel this would make a good bedroom for me. Most American kitchens in the houses of people who have money are exceptionally showy and grand. They're really the size of hotel kitchens. This kitchen is definitely not the heart of this house. There aren't zillions of pots, hundreds of surfaces for rolling dough. This is nicely lacking in all those touches. This shower room is interesting because it's the only surviving room from Michael's first go at this house in the 70s. He wanted to redo it because he thinks it's too postmodern, but his girlfriend prevailed upon him to leave it. I like it very much, but then again, I haven't been criticized for being too postmodern. This is, as you can see, the gym, where Michael allegedly works out. I myself have never seen him. engaged in this, and I never want to. I think all people should have gyms in their house so that we don't have to see them exercising in public. As you come upstairs, you meet this guy, just one of the many guys that I don't know. This is the second level of the rotunda. It's one of my favorite places in this house. You have this wonderful light, and I understand that Michael's dog was a puppy. He fell through here, so not being a dog lover, I think that would be another reason to have one of these in every house. And this is his study, in which he does not study. He created this perfect workroom, and he doesn't work in it. I would love to work in this room. I think it's a perfect place to work. It's in the center of the house, so it gives the impression of being quiet. You have this nice, beautifully colored blank wall to look at. These are his pencils, which he works with. If he worked here, he would. The furniture and objects around this house are a mixture of antique pieces, which he bought, and his own designs, which are often based on them or at least influenced by them. So there's no sense in which this is a period house. The purpose of these is to hide everything that he doesn't want you to see. This house is always junk-free. That's, in fact, very common to architects. You'd think they never had to comb their hair or brush their teeth. Architects don't have stuff. They have objects. These two things are unrelated. Hide the stuff, show the objects. That's the idea. The first thing that struck me the first time I saw this bedroom was that there are no curtains on the windows. This would drive me out of my mind. I would not be able to live in a place like this. It means that first light, the light's right in your room. And ordinarily, people who don't have curtains at the windows, this is usually reserved for the very rich because it means there are no people to look in. But here, where he's surrounded by other people, he's chosen to ignore it, apparently. This room particularly has very classic proportions, and it's very symmetrical, with the windows on either side of the fireplace and the mirror. And although I've never been in this bed, I'm sure the primary consideration in this room was the perspective from the bed. I think people have an innate sense of symmetry. A good proportion makes you feel differently and act differently. I think people would behave better if they were all in buildings like this. If a building isn't pleasurable to be in, then it's not good architecture. Michael understands that one of the basic functions of architecture is to provide pleasure, and this is a very pleasurable house to be in. The problem is that because it's his own house, he's constantly tinkering with it. It'll be totally different in 5 years. The solution to this is to give me this house, I would preserve it, and he can go tinker somewhere else. Why not?